Hello, Fractured Protagonist here again. Today's video is going to be about fake people. Now, you may or may not know someone in your own circle that is fake. Here's how to spot them. The first sign to look out for is that they tend to be inconsistent. This is the type of person who lies regularly on a consistent basis and tries to deceive others and is bound to be inconsistent with facts and evidence to support their misleading claims. They might regularly miss commitments or break promises in favor of their own self image. And this is the kind of social and emotional inconsistency that is most obvious of a sign of genuinely a fake person, according to psychology reports. So let's say you ask this person to hang out for coffee or get lunch or something like that on a Friday or Saturday afternoon. They may say yes, but then in the middle of everything, decide to just cut the commitment in half and say, "Oh, I'm going to be too busy, so we'll have to do a rain check on that." Now, that happens sometimes, but when this type of person does it on a fairly consistent basis, it's time to rethink and reevaluate what kind of friendship you may have with this person. Now, it's one thing to say that something else came up and we're going to have to reschedule because of another more important prior engagement. But when the person always does this thing, well, you're going to start questioning why you even started asking these people to hang out in the first place. The second point I wanted to make is that their personality seems to always change. So we may shift our personality and the energy depending on the room we're in and the people that we're surrounded by, maybe at the workplace or family homes or any other social gathering with our friends. But fake people are consistently changing just to suit their needs. They're not just shifting a part of their actual self, they're literally changing parts of themselves for a few moments just to be more approachable, which is okay. But in the long run, you'll never know which type of person these people really are. And you might be faced with a situation that is going to be unexpected. Who are you going to be hanging out with today versus who you'll be hanging out with tomorrow from this same person? It's basically a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde scenario. They're essentially driven by constant external validation, meaning that the personality they try on is best suited for their target, not necessarily themselves. It's kind of like they're putting on camouflage according to their environment in order to not be seen so that they can move around easier. Which reminds me of a certain character from a certain video game franchise. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But circling back to my point, this not only tends to lower self esteem, but it also sabotages any real relationships they may have cultivated. It's the friend who makes fun of their peers to impress a girl, or who changes their whole mood when someone doesn't give them the time of day. That's pretty fake. Now, the third point I want to make is that they are transactional. I've experienced this one quite a bit with specific people in my life. This is the person who doesn't truly care about building vulnerable, intentional, deep relationships. They feel more surface level or shallow. And the key thing about this point is that they always expect something in return for their basic behaviors of kindness. They seem to always keep a mental score. The kind of things that are typically unconditional in a healthy relationship, like romantic love and trust, are now weaponized to get something in return by someone who doesn't care enough to be open and honest. Now, these might be close friends or even family members who have been in your life for years. They may have displayed these types of behaviors from time to time under your nose, but probably passed it off as some personality trait or quirk. The sad truth is they were probably around only to take advantage of you. Now, the fourth point I wanted to make is that their actions are performative at best. So rather than showing or displaying any level of empathy and compassion internally to build strong connections with others, a fake person literally performs them or acts them out from a place of inauthenticity. They'll struggle to understand people in this way because they don't understand themselves. They can't put themselves in other shoes and truly understand why they're going through what they're going through in the first place. Whether it comes from a place of insecurity or sheer ignorance, this kind of performance is one of those really obvious ones where only genuine people can really spot them out. Now, you might know this fifth point where they only care about status. They tend to suck up to authority figures like maybe their bosses at work and people in power and treat people in perceived lower statuses with more angst or frustration. So, not only do they only care about promoting themselves and their own self image, they will often step on people to get ahead. They will purposely make others look bad only to make themselves look good. The sixth point that I want to bring up is that they only care about how others perceive them. These people manipulate social media and fake casual interactions with others to seek validation. Their own self-worth and well-being are linked to how other people perceive them and feel about them, even if it comes at the expense of their own true self. They're always only focused on what they're going to get in return. Now, the seventh point is that their value always shifts. This is where instead of letting their beliefs and values inform every aspect of their lives and decisions they make, these things shift in every passing moment. They care more about pleasing others and seeking out external validation for internal stability rather than seeking any form of morals. So it's not surprising that one of the obvious signs of a genuinely fake person is when their own moral code bounces all over the place. Now, the eighth point I want to make is that their kindness feels fake or forced. Many people can spot fake kindness more easily than other obvious signs of inauthenticity, mostly because it often feels performative from the start. From giving a million compliments to clinging onto someone in a social interaction, it's mostly always easy to tell between someone who's genuinely kind and intentional and someone whose kindness feels forced and plastic. They don't care to make real connections with anyone because they're all too caught up in using them for personal gain. The ninth and final point I want to make is that they will never change. Of course, you can't change someone who doesn't want to change. And for a fake person who often lacks the emotional intelligence and self awareness to reflect their patterns or behavior, it's not surprising that they truly will never change. They're not only missing out on chances to appreciate their own quiet and alone time for reflection, but also struggle to accept themselves and make good personal changes to better themselves and their lives. Anyway, let me know in the comments if any of this was helpful to you. Subscribe if you feel like it. That would be awesome. This has been Fractured Protagonist reminding you guys to keep it simple. Talk to you guys later.